Honestly, I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. I wanna let it go. So here I go, life drop. Starting a new path for my fam. Finding who I am. Speaking life, loving me, even when I fall. 'Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all. 'Cause life be life in us all. Life be life in us all.
Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Portia O, your host of Lifin podcast, and I'm here once again with another installment of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining. It is always my pleasure and an honor to have you here with me, and I am super excited to do this episode per usual. Like, y'all already know what's new. We are talking about letting go and letting God, okay? I know that's a common saying. It's a whole song. Let go, let God, let go, and let God, let go, let God, oh, let go, and let God, let go. I can keep going. But anywho, the point is, you already know. Thank y'all again. If this is your first time here on the podcast, as I adjust and get myself together, welcome. On this podcast, we talk about how life be life in us via all types of situations, relationships, and everyday things we are experiencing, all while in real time healing and learning how to be a better human being. So if that's what you're about, you're in the right place at the right time. Thank you for joining us. Speaking of us, before we go into my next segment, let's hear a message from our sponsor, Shop Lene. Thank you so much, Shop Lene. Always such a pleasure to have you a part of the podcast. And moving right along into the next segment, which is hashtag Life Be Lifin' Us All, okay? And that's where I invite you to be a part of, hey, hashtag The Village, okay? That is the community of people here. I'm going to have you listen to my beautiful baby girls, Leah and Micah.
Hey, it's me, Portia, host of Life Be Lifin' podcast. Are you Life for the podcast? Psych, it's me, Leo. Psych, it's me, Micah O. Please email my mommy or DM her with whatever you want to talk about. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to her YouTube channel. Because Life Be Lifin' us all. Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much, Leah and Micah. I, low-key feel like I should update that video because that was like 2 years ago or a year or so ago. I can't even remember, but they sound so precious. I just don't even want to let it go because now they're all much more mature. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, All right, getting right into why we are talking about letting go and letting God. Here are some questions in one of my favorite segments, which is I Got Some Questions, y'all, that I will be answering throughout this podcast. If you're new here, just know that I am very inquisitive. I'm always asking questions of myself and about the world that I am in. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what this segment is. So, here's my questions for today. Who is involved in your day-to-day decision making? Who is involved in your day-to-day decision making? Okay. And as I ask myself these questions, I want you to ask yourself as well. You can write them down. You can do whatever you would like with that. But speaking of, there is a podcast episode book coming out 2025. Be on the lookout for that, okay? Period. My next question is, what does letting go look like for you, right? What is letting go? I think we say it so like matter of factly, like, oh, just let it go, like whatever. But what does that truly look like for you? Okay. Next question is, when do you truly let go? When do you know enough is enough, that I have to let this go? I have to release this. When do you know that? Like, is it a certain point that comes about? Next question is, why is this important to your overall growth? Like, why is it important for you to let go and let God for your overall growth? And finally, the last question is, how are you affected when you don't let go? Ooh. And that be the part. Like, Jesus. I don't want no problems. Ooh. But you will gather some problems if you don't let go. You keep on trying to hold on to stuff. Bet. So we're going to talk about it. Moving on to my next segment. Did you know? Okay. Because if you didn't, it's okay, because your girl is here to tell you something that I've recently learned or that I knew about myself. This episode, I am going to tell my story of how I got diagnosed with sciatica. All right. But just to give you a little background, according to clevelandclinical.org, sciatica is a nerve pain from an injury or irritation to your sciatic nerve. In addition to pain, it can involve tingling or numbness in your back or butt that may also radiate down your leg. More severe symptoms are also possible, okay? Your sciatic nerve is the longest and thickest nerve in your body. It's up to 2 centimeters wide, okay? That is like a US penny or a United Kingdom pence coin. It's about the same width. That's crazy. That's a thick, like a penny. Like, come on. Despite its name, it's not just one nerve. It's actually a bundle of nerves that come from the 5 nerve root branches from your spinal cord, okay? You have 2 sciatic nerves, one on each side of your body. Each sciatic nerve runs through your hip and buttocks on one side. They each go down the leg on their side of your body until they reach just below your knee. Once there, they split into other nerves that connect to parts further down, including your lower leg, foot, and toes. Ciao. Lastly, having sciatica means you can experience mild to severe pain anywhere with the nerves that connect to the sciatic nerve, all right? The symptoms can affect your lower back, hips, buttocks, and legs. Some symptoms may extend as far down as your feet and toes, depending on specific nerves affected. All right. So, just to give a little background on what sciatica is, because a lot of people never heard of it or don't even know like what it entails. And to be honest, I've heard of sciatica. You all know I work in the healthcare field. I've heard of people being diagnosed with it. I've heard of the effects of it. I've heard of that, but never in a million years did I think that I would be affected by it, right? And the most common way that I've heard about it is like people that have had epidurals or like a side effect from a epidural or something like that. At least that was my understanding back when I was having children, okay? So yeah, let's go on into the next segment, which is this is just my life experience, okay? And so this is where I tell you an interesting story about me and, whatever. So I'm going to give you the whole timeline to how I ended up letting go and letting God in this situation. And all the things matter. All right. So December 21st, 1987. Psych, that was my birthday. And that's exactly my birthday. But actually, on my birthday last year, December 21st, 2023, I was having some minor pain in my lower back. Okay. Let me give you a little more context to this. So, previous years, I've had in my past, like, way more than 10 years ago, but like 15, 20 years ago, actually, I had a kidney infection. And I remember that pain like being dang near paralyzing. And I had to go to the emergency room, all that type of stuff from this stabbing pain in my lower back. Okay. Another fun fact about old Portia, when I was younger, I had a hard time or I struggled with drinking water. Typical, most people do, you know what I'm saying? But I was not a girl about getting your water intake in or whatever. And so that was something my family used to harp on me about, like, as an adult, like you got to drink water. You can't just not be drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Got to get it in. And so anyway, I had a little kidney infection and that was that. Went to emergency room, got antibiotics, fine. Everything was good again. But I remember like I was in a rehearsal for choir and having that pain. I had to leave because I was in so much pain. All right. Fast forward to having children or being pregnant with children. I had UTIs, which are urinary tract infections, all the time. Okay. Like that was number one side effect of being pregnant. Every time I went to the doctor visit and they take your urine as a pregnant mom, and every time they test it, they like, oh, you got a UTI. Oh, you got a UTI. Like I had incontinence, which is a symptom of a UTI, or, side effect of it. And it was just normal for me throughout my pregnancies. Those were the only times I had UTIs was when I was pregnant. But yeah, it was just a thing. And so I remember that pain. Okay. I remember that as well. And I'm like, that little twinge in my lower back. And I'm like, I must have a UTI. Dang, I got a UTI. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward back to my birthday last year, the pain started. I felt a little twinge of pain in my lower back. And I was like, maybe I need to stretch. Like, it just felt like a uncomfortable pain, not necessarily like a nagging, the alarms are going off, something is wrong pain, but it was just like, oh, maybe I slept wrong. Maybe I just need to stretch my back. Like, I need to do something. That was more so what I thought, right? And kind of putting it to the remembrance of older pains that I've experienced with my lower back. And I'm like, maybe I got another UTI. Maybe, as the days persisted, right? It went 10 days. On New Year's Eve, which was 10 days from my birthday, the pain got worse. Like, I remember waking up and I was like, I thought I had, maybe I got a UTI. Mom, like, you need to drink some cranberry juice, I'm pumping my water in. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to tell my doctor. And I am typically scheduled for my physicals, my annual physicals in January or early February. And so I think I was scheduled for January. So I'm like, I'm gonna see her in a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? But this pain is like persisting, right? I luckily thank God for advancement in medical treatment. And I did a video visit on New Year's Eve or day, one of those. It was either New Year's Eve day or the second day of the year. I did a video visit because, again, the pain had persisted. And I'm like, if it is a UTI, I need an antibiotic so that I can get this flush, like get this on up out my system. Right. And so I did the video visit, the virtual visit, and I told the doctor, like, what I was experiencing, what my previous conditions were with this same type of feeling and what I thought it was. And I was experiencing incontinence, which made me feel like, okay, this is that. Like, it has to be a UTI because every time I go to the bathroom, I'm like, just a little bit. And it feels like so much pressure. Like, that's how it feels with a UTI. And I'm like, dang, I gotta go to the bathroom every 5 seconds. And it's just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm like, bruh, that's what incontinence is, or whatever. So I told the doctor that, and she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I could prescribe you an antibiotic. I'm also going to give you something else that's going to turn your urine like brownish or whatever, because the pill was like brownish. She's like, your urine's going to be brown, but it's going to help clear all this out your system. You'll be fine or whatever. And then I was like, I got a doctor's appointment scheduled with my primary care in January. She was like, you just follow up with her, whatever, but you got to take this for like 7 days and it should help you. Right. I did that. And by the time I made it to my doctor's appointment, which was like a week, maybe 2 weeks or so later, first of all, once I finished the antibiotic, the pain was gone. At least I thought. But it has subsided. And now this is January, right? January of 2024. And you know how you have your New Year's resolutions and all the things. And I had started back working out. I'm like, it's a new year. Let me get back into the gym. Like, I had my break. I take the last 2 years of 2 weeks of the year off. Had my break. After my break, I'm like, let's get to it, right? I'm back in the gym at my house, and I was hitting it hard. I was doing strength training. I was doing all the things that I needed to do. I was doing some Pilates and all, like, whatever. I was just working out. Okay. And so I'm like, I feel fine. I'm good. I didn't have the pain anymore. But to be honest, and this is why it's important for us to listen to our bodies, right? Because I may not have had the strenuous pain that I was experiencing for that 10-day period, right? But the pain that started off as a minimum, little tiny pain was still there. And I remember saying, like, okay, it went away. And then when I went to the doctor and she checked, she did my urine. I got all my labs ran and everything. And she was like, you don't have a UTI. That should have been ding, 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 number one, right? Your urine is not showing that you have a UTI or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess it wasn't a UTI. But I don't know what it was, but I took the antibiotics, like, whatever. Like, I'm maybe blurring timeline here because, yeah, it's kind of a blur. But it was close proximity to when I was doing the antibiotics and when I had my actual annual. And so, yeah, she was like, no, they did a culture swab. Anytime they take urine, they do a culture. And, those results come some days after. And that's what it was. She notified me through that and was like, you don't have an infection or anything. So, yeah, I was like, well, I finished the antibiotics, like, whatever. But I did still have that little bit of pain that little bit of pain. It was very, 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 very tiny in my lower back. But it just felt like an uncomfortableness, not like a okay. So fast forward, I'm working out January, February. I'm getting it, boom, bam, right? And so I'm preparing for spring break for my kids in March. I had decided to, with my friend Sky, to take the kids to Washington, D.C. For the first time for them. But she has little girls that are the same age as my little girls, essentially. And we wanted to get them together. And just so happened their spring breaks was the same week. So we got to make it happen. And so this was a big trip for us. We went out there for like almost a week. I want to say it was like 5 to 6 days, something like that. And so we were really excited about this trip, and like we were preparing, and my mom prepared. She was going on her own trip or whatever at the same time that we were going to be out of town. So it was like we were all looking forward to like getting ready to go and be somewhere, right? And so that week before, which was like March, we could say March 17th, 18th, around there. This pain started to persist more again. And I'm like, it wasn't a UTI last time, but still, I'm like, well, maybe it is this time. But this pain is so weird. Like, it's in my lower back, but it's not like it's my back. I don't know. It just felt weird. Like, the pain was, the location is where my hand is, like on my lower back. But I didn't think this is my back. I'm thinking it's my kidneys. It's maybe it's my pancreas, organ, something. One of my organs is doing something. I don't know what's happening. Okay. I'm just like, whatever. And then I'm like, now I'm working out, right? I have been working out for like 2+ months at this point. So I'm like, maybe I lifted too much. Maybe I didn't stretch good, because I really wasn't stretching much at that time, because I'm like, I only got time to get it in. I only got 5 minutes stretch, and like, boom. So, when you don't properly work out, that can cause injury to you, right? But still, I'm not thinking of it like that. I'm just like, something's happening with one of my organs, and whatever. I need to figure that out, right? And so I think I did another video visit. And I was like, yeah, I just had the same similar thing happen in December. So I need some more medication. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's another UTI or not, right? And so I then went on with my week, still working out. But then I think I kind of slowed down, because I was like, this pain, like, oh, my back. Like, it's like, something's going on, but whatever. That Wednesday, okay, I did a video visit again, got medications. I picked them up on Thursday. My friend was having her birthday dinner that Friday. And so she invited us to come to the birthday dinner, me and my mom, and I had planned to drop my kids off with my aunt. And so that Thursday, I'm like, I need to get my back like together, because I got this birthday dinner tomorrow. Like, I got stuff to do, period, always. And so I got my meds Thursday. I took the first dose. Friday morning, I took the second dose. So obviously it's going to take some time for this medicine like to really get into my system, right? So Friday night, I know I'm going out to eat for my friend's birthday. I know I want to drink a margarita. And so I'm not going to take the med again until maybe later, right? And it was one of them antibiotics that I could drink on, but I shouldn't like overdo it, obviously. But I was just going to get one little frozen margarita, call it a day, okay? But so I got all cute and everything. Me and my mom, we dropped the kids off at my aunt's house. We drive back because the restaurant was actually over here by our house. And so we drive back to the restaurant, whatever. We get there, speak to everybody. We had like the little back room, whatever. Speak to everybody, put our stuff down. We place our orders and everything. And then they like, oh, y'all got to go to the bar to get y'all drinks. So now, I knew another friend there. We walked to the bar to get our drinks. And as I'm walking to the bar, my back pain is like, I'm like, man, it's getting bad. Like, it's getting more than just an uncomfortableness. It's like agonizing. So I'm like, but I realize when I'm standing up, it's less pressure. So I'm standing up at the bar talking to my friend and I'm trying to push through this pain. Like, I'm clearly uncomfortable, but I'm not like, I'm like, okay, I'm here at this dinner, like, whatever, like, whatever. I get my drink. I walk back to the table and I'm like kind of stiff, right? I'm giving real stiff because I'm trying to like push through this pain and not be like visibly I'm in pain. I get back to the table. They bringing the food out. Like, it's a big table of people. They bringing the food out. I sit down and that pain went from, if it was at a 10, it went to a 50. Soon as I sat down, I was like, what the world? I'm like, I was trying to sit down. I was like, whew, okay, I can't. All right. I was like, okay. And it was a tight table and everything. So I'm like, I had to get in the spot. Now I got to try to get out the spot. And I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, I just need to get up. Cause I didn't want to, like, this is somebody's birthday dinner. Like, it's a bunch of people here. I didn't want to like make a scene, right? But I'm like, something is not right. I go in the bathroom and I'm in a stall and I'm like, maybe I need to go to the bathroom. Like, maybe I need to maybe I need to pee, maybe something, like, I don't know. I'm trying to self-diagnose and figure this thing out while it's happening. But I tried to sit down on the toilet. First of all, I couldn't even get my pants undone. I couldn't even get my pants undone. I was in so much pain. And then I'm like slowly, like, because I'm being real stiff, I'm slowly trying to pull the pants down. And I'm like, maybe I should just try to sit down. Every time I bent, like, again, if I'm erect and upright, it was still hurting. But anytime I bent, trying to like sit or stoop, oh, baby, that pain was like, what? What is you doing? No. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. Like, can you imagine? I was like, what is happening? So I had my phone with me. I text my mom and I'm like, hey, I'm in the bathroom and I can't sit down. Like, I'm in extreme pain. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I think I need to go to the emergency room. Like, because at this point, I can't figure it out. Like, if it was a UTI, I've never experienced a UTI feeling like this. Like, if anything, it ain't got nothing to do with like this. This is just beyond ridiculous. And so I text her and I'm like, at first I was like, maybe I could take a pain pill. I'm like, do you have some Tylenol with you? Because I didn't bring any pain pills with me. And I don't typically take pain pills. I don't typically take medication. Like, even right this moment, I have a little headache. I've had it pretty much all day today. And I'm just like, I'm not taking no medicine. I'm sleeping off, right? That's me. But I'm like, Mom, you got some Tylenol. She typically does have pain pills with her, but she didn't. And so then I'm like, ask Daphne, which is her friend, who's at the dinner as well. And she like, no. And I think they ended up finding some pain pills from somebody. But I'm like, don't say nothing. Because again, this is somebody's birthday dinner. I don't want to make a big deal. Like, don't make this about me. I can't sit down. I can't do nothing. My food's at the table, the margarita at the table, everything's there. And I'm like, hey, I got to go to the emergency room. But I'm like, Mom, you can stay here. I can get myself to the emergency room. It's not a problem. Again, I don't want to ruin the dinner. Everybody's having a good time. Let me go to the emergency room and I'll keep you posted. My mama like, no, I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, cause I'm trying to keep the noise to a minimum. I'm not trying to be like, hey, it's an emergency. Somebody got to get taken out the restaurant. Like, we're not doing that. So she let my TT know like something was going on with me or whatever. So they got my coat, got my food boxed, everything. I'm like, give my drink to the birthday girl. Like, whatever. I don't care what y'all do. I got to go. So my mama packed up her food, everything. They met. I didn't want to go back into the room where the birthday dinner was happening in that pain. Because at this point, I'm crying. Like, bruh, this hurt. And so we walking out the restaurant and they helped me put my coat on or whatever. We go outside. I can barely get into my truck so I can drive myself to the emergency room. Thank God I live down the street from a hospital. But the point is, I could not, the pain was so strenuous, I had to sit down to get in the car to drive. And I'm like picking up my leg. And I'm like, my mama like, are you okay? And she's a panicker. Okay, guys. My mother is a panicker. She is going to panic. She's going to worry. She's going to be all anxiety through the roof. Okay. And I'm like, I'm trying to remain calm myself, even though I don't know what's happening. But I'm just like, she's like, are you okay? You can't drive. I'm going to have to drive. But she too anxious to drive. And still, I got to get in this car. Irregardless, I still have to get my body in the car. And so I'm just like, no, it's okay. So I'm pushing through the pain so I can get in the driver's seat so I can drive myself to the emergency room because I'm right down the street. If I could just get there, I'll be fine. I'm driving. I'm kind of like sitting up and like trying to move every 5 seconds. I'm getting stopped at the light and I'm breathing through. Like I felt like I was in Lamaze class and I was like, like I'm just doing stiff as ever. Like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. And my mama the whole time, you okay, Portia? You might need to pull up. What we go? I'm like, we're almost there. Like, stop asking me questions. I don't know what's happening. I'm just trying to get there. So anyway, this was March 22nd. That was a Friday, okay? I pull up to the emergency room and I think I parked. I parked my car and everything, walked, got out the car, like took me a minute to get out the car, walked into the emergency room, me and my mom, and checked in and they like, oh, we need you to give a urine sample. Because I was like, I thought it was a UTI, but I don't think this is a UTI. Like I'm on medication for a UTI right now, my second day. And and they gave me that little brown pill again and made my urine brown. She like, okay, we need a urine sample so we can see, like, if it is an infection, right? And so I'm like, okay, I go to that bathroom. Y'all, I pissed all over my pants, my hands, everything. First of all, if I tell you, emergency room people, I cannot sit, it hurts when I bend or do anything. How y'all think I'm gonna get y'all a urine sample? How? Just how? I'm in the bathroom, standing over the toilet, trying to piss in this little cup, and I'm peeing all over my pants. And I had on like some little heel boots or something, or maybe it was just regular boots, but I couldn't take the boots off, and now piss running down. It was just a mess, okay? I could not sit or stoop to pee in this cup. So I'm in the bathroom crying. Like, how you expecting me to pee in this cup? I can't, it hurt. Like, I can't do nothing. Bruh. So I gave them, I don't know, a quarter of piss. I don't know how much was in that cup. Whatever made it, okay? Y'all figure it out. But I come back out of there, put the cup on the stand. My mama sitting down, and I'm like, I don't want to sit down because it hurts. So I did end up sitting, but I was like laying in the chair, kind of like on a slant. So my back wasn't against the back of the chair. My head was just on the back of the chair, and my back wasn't touching it at all. And I had my legs straight out, and I was just laying there kind of in the chair waiting for them to call me and still doing my Lamaze breathing, trying to breathe through this pain. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. And I'm really confused and like, God, why is this happening? And I kept all I could think about, because we're leaving on the 26th. This is the 22nd. We're leaving on the 26th to head to DC. And that's all I kept thinking about. Like, I gotta make it for this trip. The tickets are already bought. The plans have already been made. The money has already been spent. I gotta take my baby. Like, the excitement is there. The bags are packed. We gotta go on this trip. And I'm like, God, please don't have me up in the. I'm like, so I'm thinking, is this my kidney? Do I have a kidney problem? Do I have kidney stones? Because that was another thing that came to my mind. Like, I heard kidney stones are very excruciating pain or whatever. I'm like, am I passing a kidney stone? Like, is that what's happening? Like, and then if so, I'm gonna have to stay in the hospital until that happens, or they're gonna have to give me surgery, and we're gonna miss our trip still. Like, that just shows you how deeply you be invested in everything and everyone else around you opposed to yourself. Because I'm not even, yes, I'm afraid and I'm nervous and I'm trying to figure it out, but also I'm more so focusing on what I'm not going to be able to do for my kids, how disappointed they're going to be if I have to be in the hospital. Like, not, well, Portia, you may have to be in the hospital because something is going on with your body. It's shutting down. Something's happening. No, I push me to the side like I typically do. And I'm thinking about my kids and how this is going to affect them and the plans that we have made. And how did I even get in this situation, right? I get let back to the emergency room. My mom, like, you want me to come back with you? I said, no, don't worry. It's getting late at this point. Like, my kids are still at my aunt's house. I'm like, we need to get the kids from my aunt's house. Y'all can go to the house. I will keep you posted. I should be able to drive home. I'm down the street. It's not a big deal. Like, it's fine. And so my aunt came, picked up my mom from the emergency room with the kids, and then she took them home or whatever. So I was just keeping my mom posted via text. I'm back there, and I'm just like, they lay me down, and the lady like, they gave me a bed or whatever, and she lays me down, and she like, you want it to be the bed to be up some. I'm like, no, I need it completely flat. I had the hospital bed completely flat. I was laying completely flat. That was the only time that I felt the most less pressure. I was still in excruciating pain, but that was the only time it gave me some type of relief, right? When I was completely flat. And so, but even with being completely flat, I couldn't turn over. Like, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't lay on my side. I couldn't do, like, that was anytime I made any type of inch towards something, I'm like excruciating pain. I'm screaming. Okay. I'm in the hospital bed, like, what is happening? I don't understand. Okay, God. Like, and I'm talking to God at this point. Okay. Cause I'm like, listen, you know what I've been doing. You know what I've been really purposefully trying to take care of myself or whatever. Why are you allowing this to happen? Has anybody else been there before? And not that I think that I'm above anything happening to me. That ain't the truth, because stuff happened to me all the time. But it's just like, I'm actually trying to prevent things from happening. And why are you allowing this to happen at this time that you know I am doing the things, right? And so I was just confusion, to be honest. They like, oh, they're gonna do a CT on my abdomen or whatever to see what was going on. The urine came back. I did not have a UTI. Remember, I had that appointment on Wednesday. This is Friday. They said you don't have a UTI. Second time. And I'm like, well, what the heck? What's going on? All right, I don't have an infection from the kidney or the urinary tract, whatever. All right, so what's happening? And so the doctor, before I'm waiting for a CT scan for a very long time, okay? And the doctor comes in and he's like, yeah, so before the CT scan, he like, yeah, so you have sciatica. I was like, what? What? I got what? You got sciatica. And I was like, okay. And he was like, have you ever had lower back pain before? And I was like, no. Because to me, again, kidney infection, UTIs, like, even though I felt that pain in that section, it wasn't registering to me like it was back pain. It was registering to me like this was organ pain, like whatever. And I'm like, no, I've never had back pain. And then instantly, I'm like, could this been caused? I've had 2 epidurals. I had 2 C-sections. Is this a long-term side effect of that? And he was like, how long ago was your C-section? I mean, how long ago was your epidural? I was like, 5 years ago, Micah 5. And he was like, yeah, no. So I was like, how did this happen? I'm like, what causes sciatica? Because I just couldn't understand it. And he was just like, oh, it could have been injuries or whatever. And I had to remember back to when this pain initially started. I wasn't even working out at that time. So I'm like, it couldn't have been my workout that caused this. You know, initially, like this is something that's been brewing for a minute. And I just been kind of like putting a little Band-Aid over it, not purposefully, because I thought I was doing the right thing. I made the doctor's appointments. I did the medications. I did the things that they said do what we thought it was. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, okay. And he was like, we can give you a medication. Like, I think it was, I can't even think of the medication right now, but it's one of those high dose medications, like the real drugs. Okay. I can't, was it, yes, it was Norco, not Oxy. It was Norco and the other one, morphine, they offered me. But it was more so morphine. So they was like, if we give you this, because it's like, how did you get here? I drove here. If we give you this, you cannot drive yourself home. At this point, it's after midnight. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Sir, who gonna take me home? I'll kid y'all not, I live like 2 minutes away from the hospital. It's a straight shot. Come out the hospital parking lot, right here at my house. Like, I'm like, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't have nobody to bring me, take me home. So I'm like, well, what can you give me now? So they gave me some type of medication, like a high dose Tylenol type thing. And that didn't help. That Tylenol, that pain ate that Tylenol. That Tylenol did nothing. That pain was like, what? You came to do what? Oh, okay. I was like, they was like, how do you feel? Terrible. I'm still terrible. I still can't move. I can't turn. I can't roll over. I can't do anything. And still waiting on this dumb CT scan. And then I had, so I finally went to the CT scan. They did the abdominal scan or whatever. And they was like, everything looks good. Like, yeah, it's got to be a sciatic nerve. I was like, okay, that's fine. So they were getting ready to discharge me. And they prescribed me some medications and they put it to the Walgreens. And so that was the part of the deal, right? They can give me some medication, or like the higher doses of medication to help with the pain, and I would have to get a ride, or I can go, they'll just put it in the pharmacy, I go pick it up and then take it when I get home, right? And that sounds like the better option because it's 2:00 in the morning. Who gonna pick me up? I'm not gonna call an Uber to come to the hospital to take me 2 minutes away. And my car is in the parking lot at the hospital. And so I'm like, and thank God my pharmacy too is not too far from my house, like 5 minutes, okay? And so it's 24 hours. So I could go leave the hospital, go get my medication, come home, take my meds, get into bed, okay? But this was the sign. I got up out that bed, or attempted to. I was able to sit up, and when I sat up, and even when I went to get the CT scan, and they trying to transfer me from my bed to their CT scan bed, and they like, okay, just slide over. I'm like, I cannot. It hurts. I cannot move the lower part of my body. I can't. And he like, oh, you need help? Yeah, I need help. Y'all gonna have to move me with this sheet. I did it for many years as a CNA. Y'all gonna have to move me because I can't move myself. If I could, I wouldn't be like sitting here trying. Like they see me trying, they just sitting there. I'm like, y'all gonna have to do it. It hurts too much. I'm sitting on the side of my bed. I finally was able to sit up on the side of my bed after a long while of slow movements to get upright in the bed. And I tried to get up and walk. And this is when they were getting my discharge papers ready to come bring them to me. I had to go use the bathroom so bad I had to pee. I could not get up off that bed. I could not walk. The pain was excruciating. I was like, I got back in the bed, crying. I pressed the call light. They come in there. They like, we're getting your papers ready to go. I'm like, sir, y'all cannot send me home. Like, I can't walk. I can't walk. At this point, I can't even walk. And this is after hours of laying in the bed flat, resting my body. I could not walk. I was like, no, y'all can't send me home like this. I got an elevator in my house, but I still have to get in my car. I have to get out of my car. I got to walk I can't even walk from this bed to this bathroom right here. That's in my room. Y'all can't send me home like this. And I was like, well, ma'am, what would you want us to do? You want the medication now? And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get home? Thank God for bringing back to my remembrance that my bestie, Kendra, at the time was having difficulty sleeping at night. And so I remember her telling me earlier that week, like, Portia, I be up to 2, 3 in the morning. Like, not that I'm not tired. Like, I just be up. And God just be talking to me. And I just be like, and I'm like, man, like, I get it. Been there. I hear you, but was having difficulty sleeping. And so let me call her and see if she up. It's 2:00 in the morning. I called my best friend. She answered the phone. And then I told her, hey, I'm in the emergency room. This is what's happened. They say I got sciatica. I need to get to the pharmacy, Walgreens, to pick up my medications. They want to discharge me right now, but they won't discharge me if they give me a high dosage of medication. I can't drive with it. My car is parked here. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need somebody to pick me up because I can't move. And so I need them to give me this pain med so I can be able to move a little bit, enough for me to get in my house. And she was like, bet, no problem. Call the pharmacy. Make sure they got your medications ready. I'll go there first. Pick up your medication. Then I'll come to the hospital, pick you up. Tomorrow morning, if you're feeling a little better, we can come pick up your car. Just leave it in the parking lot. You down the street. Leave it in the parking lot. We'll come pick up your car or whatever. And so I was like, okay. Once I solidified that, I let the nurse know my friend is going to come pick me up, give me some medicine, some high dose medicine. And so they gave me morphine, a shot in my arm. And within a few minutes, I felt relief. Lord Jesus. Them medications be, listen. Now, it's not my journey or story to be, wanting to consistently be like that. But I didn't feel loopy or nothing. It really did treat that pain and kind of subside it for the moment. And it wasn't like the pain was completely gone. But at least I could move a little better. I was still stiff and all of that, but I could still move just a teeny bit better. Thank God for that. And thank God for Kendra, who helped me. And she was like, I was diagnosed with sciatica, and she was telling me different stretches to do. And we were talking about it. While I'm laying in the hospital bed, I'm Googling and trying to figure out what causes sciatica. How is this happening to me? And one of the causes I did see was, guess what? Stress. What? Stress. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. And speaking of stress, all of this had to happen. But before I go there, for real, I was able to get in the house and I had my medications and everything. And I took another pain pill and put this little patch on my back that my mom had for muscle relief. They gave me a muscle relaxer. They gave me Norco. They gave me naproxen and, all of that. So I had a variety of things. They told me stop taking antibiotics, that I was on for the UTI, all that type of stuff. And I got home at I think it was almost 4:00 in the morning. The sun was about to come up. And I laid down in that bed, and it was rough to get up the next day. And the kids were like, Mommy, we were so concerned, whatever. And my mom was leaving that next day. I think it was the next day or the day after that to go on her trip. She was leaving before we were leaving. And she's like, I'm just not going to go. I'm just going to stay here. What you going to do? I'm like, go on your trip. It's fine. Again, all the things are paid. Go. I will be fine. And so me and the kids were left here by ourselves. And I think my aunt and them had set up some food stuff or whatever, easy, quick things that I could put together for the kids to have or whatever. I was eating, but I wasn't doing a whole lot. Plus, I, had Uber Eats, DoorDash, all that type of stuff too as options. And the kids were extremely helpful. And so I was in the bed for 2 to 3 days straight, going from the bed to a recliner chair, from the recliner chair to the bed. I literally had to sit my ass down. I could not do. And thank God I had prepared for this trip really prior to this situation. But I literally had to sit and rest. Rewind. back to my birthday, December 21st of 2023. I went to the isolated cabin situation by myself, and I told this in another podcast episode, but just to quickly touch on this part, I went there and with the anticipation and expectation that God was going to meet me in that moment. I set alarms for every hour to pray, and I was going to write down what I heard God tell me. I went there expecting like download, this, that, telling me all the things, right? And when I was there, I got up every hour, did my prayers, but it was like this heavy sleep just fell over me. I could not stay woke for nothing in the world. I had brought my journal. I had a little playlist. I had like little situations set up. I was going to give myself a spot. And I ended up doing all of those things. But also, majority of my time in this isolated state, I was sleeping. And I was just like, Portia, this is not what you came here for. You didn't come here to go to sleep. But God told me after all of that, and I was like, man, I don't really feel like I heard nothing from God. I was telling my friends that. And I was like, I'm kind of disappointed because I really thought like me and God by ourselves, like this was like what I was supposed to do. And I was going ready to receive what he wanted me to do. And he told me clear as day, that's what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to rest. Because you don't. And you haven't. You're constantly going. I need you to rest. And so that was the theme of that. So fast forward back to March and the sciatica diagnosis. And here we are, purposefully, but not at my own will, but I'm being made to sit down, and I can't do any of the things that I typically would be doing. I had planned on washing the girls' hair. I think I had washed their hair, but I was planning on braiding their hair up. Like, we're going for spring break, and it's Easter. We were going to spend Easter there as well. So I'm like, they got to be on point. You know what I'm saying? And I literally was on bed rest until we left for the airport. And that was the 22nd. We left on the 26th. So the 23rd, that Saturday, the 24th, that Sunday, the 25th, that Monday, that Tuesday, we left. And that was the first time I actually got up and moved around and actually was like, I moved around other days again to get the kids their food, but I was primarily resting. I did a lot of DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff. Like, I had to rest. My kids were taking care of me, checking on me. I was popping them pills every 4 hours, every 6 hours. I was on clockwork because I'm like, we got to make this trip. I ended up having to make arrangements at the airport to be in a wheelchair because this thing is still pain. It still is painful, but I'm managing the pain with the medications, right? And so I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to walk through this gigantic airport with my children and bags and stuff with this pain. And so better be prepared than unprepared. And so I set up for me to get a wheelchair, but the kids didn't have a wheelchair, nothing. Thank God. But like, they had to walk alongside me with transportation, so they was running through the airport with their little legs alongside of me and the guy. And I'm like, girls, just stay close. Like, stay close to mommy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like, you can't be going. I need to see my kids. Like, what is you doing? And that was such a humbling experience, right? I know people go to the airport and take advantage of the wheelchair services all the time, but I think it's a difference when you really can't do for yourself. Like, I'm used to handling all the things. I'm carrying the bags. Me and my kids, I would have had us in uniform line, like boom, 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 boom. And now I gotta sit here. We gotta wait for somebody to come pick me up. We gotta try to get all this stuff on the chair and make sure y'all good. I'm constantly like hyperventilating because my kids back here, and I'm like, "Hey, come up here, walk, like y'all need to catch up. Y'all need to do, sir. Can you please slow down?" Like, then they want to stop and get breath. I'm like, "Can you stop here so we can get them some food?" And like, I'm on somebody else's time. Somebody else gotta help me do these things. And not that I don't have an appreciation for people that are unable to do for themselves, because I've been helping people like that all of my life, but it was just like such a humbling experience. It is very much so, that's a whole nother thing, but just be grateful for the access to utilize our bodies in a way that we can. And also be prayerful for those who cannot, and for their minds, for those who once had the ability and no longer do. That's something, you know. I ended up going, and here's a picture of me that my friend took of me at the airport, looking like an old lady in the wheelchair. And we were laughing about it, whatever. But it was, even with working with people that was doing the wheelchair services, one guy was like, "Oh, can't you just he was giving me issue with like getting my bags and stuff." And I'm like, "Sir, I can't do it. If I could do it, I wouldn't ask you to do it." Like, and it was just unnecessary stuff. And that's why it's also important that people be in right positions and in job roles. Like, if you don't have a passion for people, you shouldn't be working in customer service, especially people that can't do certain things. Like, why are you even here? Don't make it like I'm inconveniencing you. You're on the clock, sir. Anywho, we made the DC trip. My sis and her husband, my bro, took very good care of us. They accommodated me. They picked up where I was lacking because of my restrictions, as far as not being able to be as active. I still did all the things we planned on doing, but they definitely were like really hands-on, helping with the girls, all the things. So I am eternally grateful for that experience. It was even though, making the journey was a journey, but once we got there, everything was taken care of, and I was feeling better as days went on, obviously with the medications and stuff. So it worked out. It worked out. The girls had a blast. It was amazing. But when I got home, I made the decision not too long after that I was going to take a break from my TikTok lives. So, for about a year, I was going live on TikTok with a TikTok friend, and it started off something so innocent and an escape from my current circumstances of going through my separation, living on my own, being a single mother, doing all those things. And I had not too long before that started my own journey on TikTok with my Life Be Lifin and all of that, and going live after the Black Girl Follow Train. I had started that. No, I didn't start that, but like I did that. I participated in that, and I was able to go live on TikTok, which will get me more exposure and, just open up my platform to be able to interact with people more and on a more face-to-face basis, virtually, obviously. And so I met this woman, and through that, and she wanted to start her own live, and I told her I'll be there to support her, and that's how it started. And I did that. it ended up being an everyday thing, well, Monday through Friday thing. And what started off with me just being supportive ended up being people wanting more of my participation or more access to me, shall I say. And because before I wasn't even showing my face, I was just a little talking box. And then they were asking, the viewers were requesting that they see my face. And I'm like, y'all can go to my page and see my face. You know, like I don't have to like, okay. Uh um, but I did start showing my face and it became like a regular thing. And we had a regular following of men, heavy audience. And it ended up growing into something much greater than I even anticipated. Because we have a significant age difference amongst us two, and then so our audience was like a significant, like it was a good mix. We had young, we had middle, we had older, more seasoned people. So it was just really good. And me and her, overall, our personalities were like yin and yang, essentially. But also we were trying to build a friendship as well outside of this TikTok world. Yeah, it was a time. And then we started like getting a little more women in there. That's where I met my sis Sky. It just became this monster of a thing for me that just was consuming a lot of my time. But when it initially started, from the lives to soon as we get off the lives, we're having conversation on the phone all day long. It's a group of people, like we're getting to know people that you probably would have never met if not for TikTok, right? But this was again in a season of me feeling lonely and just trying to figure out what this new normal looks like for me and process like what is happening within myself, with my marriage, with my children, with all the things, right? And so it was an escape. It was an escape and it was a comfort, and knowing that people admired me and wanted to see me and hear me and like on me and whatever was a very good feeling for that period of time in my life. It was a lot. And I don't think that I was paying attention fully in the midst of it, like how consuming it was becoming. Like, again, something that started off so small and innocent just became very time consuming, emotionally, like draining. It was just a lot in the midst of me trying to heal. I did a live. I was doing lives while I was on the spring break. And then when I got back, the first of the month, I decided that I let her know and the people know in our Discord that I was going to take a break because I felt like the sciatica was God's way of telling me, now I told you back in December, I want you to rest. And I want you to rest more and take care of your body and take care of yourself. And my efforts of taking care of my body and taking care of myself was me getting into the workout in January, right? Which is a part of it. But also, he meant like rest, rest, rest. Like anything that is causing you stress or strife or contention within yourself and others, and like pressure, and like it was just too much. It was too much going on at once. And I already had a plate full of stuff. I made the decision that I was just going to, it was just becoming too much for me. And I decided that I was going to step back and take a break and purposefully rest while I am not just healing mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but now physically. because this sciatica situation. Spring break is over. I made it through that. Now I'm back to my regular schmegular schedule, and this pain is still here. I still can't sleep properly. I'm still taking pain medication. I'm still doing and dealing with this. And on top of that, I have to be on this live from 8 to 10 a.m. in addition to working my 9 to 5 job, in addition to all the other things that I had going on, right? And it's just, no. It became a no for me. So it was just too much. It became too much, and I had to like let that go. But it was a hard let go. Again, as a reformed people pleaser and not wanting to let anyone down, and knowing like the impact that I was making, and also like just hearing people tell me all the time, like, oh, we love to hear from you. We miss you when you're not there. We like, this and that. And like, it's not the same and blah, 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 blah. You kind of feel a level of obligation to show up for people, right? And okay, I get that. That was the part of the point of building it, right? But also, what about you, Portia? And I feel like I say this like every episode of this podcast or every other one, but like for real, like when are you going to start paying attention to what you need and what you desire and what's important to you? And I felt needed. I felt validated. I felt seen. I felt all of those things, but I also felt drained and tired and exhausted and not seen by certain people, and having to work with people that was giving a level of difficulty, or that did not have the same perspectives, or wasn't really fully in alignment with who you are at your core. Like, to what end? To what end? And if it's becoming that tumultuous, then maybe you should let it go. And again, I just felt like the whole sciatica thing, God warned me. Then he did something or allowed something to happen, right? And I had a choice to make. Oh man, it was months that I was on that live saying like how tired I was, how exhausted I was. And like, I just couldn't put my finger on. And I know it wasn't just the live, but it was a huge contributing factor at that time for me and my mental health. And so April 1st, I said I was going to take a break. I let everybody know what was going on with me, what had happened with me with the sciatica, and I need to rest because that's what God told me to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'll let y'all know if and when I'll be back. That went on for a month. May 1st comes around and I'm still not ready. And when I tell y'all, when I told them I want to take this break, and a lot of people reached out to me and I spoke to each and every one of them. But when I tell y'all, the mornings that were being ate up and consumed by being on and having to take in so much and deal with so much, and not just those 2 hours, because it was becoming like full days of interacting with people and things that really wasn't vibing with me. And so that rest, it was like instant relief. Instant. And I was like, oh, I don't miss that. And what I realized in that was it served me for a season. It served me for a time. It was something I needed for a moment. but I'm not in that place anymore. I don't need this long term anymore. I don't need this day to day anymore. I did not miss it. Now, did I miss the people? It's a difference than missing the obligation or the responsibility or the being tested every day to just show up like constantly questioning yourself and am I like, what am I doing, or should I show up differently, or enough. And so by May, before the end of May, I told them completely that I was not coming back to the show. And that June, I started physical therapy for my sciatica. That August, after I finished my 2 months or so, 2.5 months or so of physical therapy, that August, I started my 75-day challenge. And here we are. Here we are. And so I said all that to say, letting go of certain things that are weighing you down and pressuring you and stressing you out and all that type of stuff, all that stuff matters. It shows up, it comes back up. It can come out of you in your physical and all of that. And so it's a journey. And I'm glad that I'm not happy that God had to show me in a manner, but I'm glad that I did experience it because it helped me let go. It gave me a way of escape when I felt like I was in bondage. And I didn't want to be that way. I never wanted that. That was never the intention. And even though I felt like, man, I'm letting people down, at the end of the day, them people still living their lives. They don't think about me every day. They don't deal with me every day. They have moved on. And so have I. So you sitting there worrying about, well, how this going to affect this person or what they going to think and and all this type of stuff, let go and let God. So yeah, that was my story. This is just my life experience. And before I get out of here, I wanted to share another thing with you all. Some joy in my life, which is my self-care routine that I have now established since I have let go and let God. And I'm super grateful for that. I get up in the morning, 5:30, workout 5:45, get the kids off to school, 6:40, 7 o'clock, they on the bus, get back upstairs, take my shower, do brushing my teeth, washing my face, doing all the things, and starting work at 7:30, doing my candles. I'm putting my body butters on. I'm just taking care of me. I make me some tea, or I drink me a protein shake. I'm listening to my audiobooks for whatever I want to listen to. I spend time with God. I'm just doing a lot of purposeful work and taking care and pouring into Portia, first thing in the morning. And I'm grateful for it. I'm extremely grateful for it because it is a major part of what God is preparing me for. And so, yeah, I hope that you all have some self-care routines that you have established for yourself and that you indulge in every day or however often you can do it. And yeah, so I hope this helped you just as much as it's helped me. Please listen to this life coaching video. Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Portia, your host of Lifin Podcast and your life coach. I am here to help you along your healing journey with a few things you may be experiencing while seeking a life coach. Today's focus is a desire, which is a long-term well-being of oneself. Do you have the feelings of being stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain about your future? Imagine having a trusted guide to help you navigate your journey to long-term well-being. A life coach can help you set clear and achievable goals and provide support and accountability you need to stay on track. Together, you will uncover your passions, identify your strengths, and create a personalized plan for lasting fulfillment. Sustainable mental and emotional health is the ultimate aim for those working with a life coach. So start your transformation today and take the steps to a more brighter and balanced future. Your best life awaits you while
Life be life in us all. Life be life in us all.
All right, y'all already know what to do. And we have come to the last segment, my favorite segment, which is Speak Life. All right, this is the segment where I leave you with a call to action for yourself, but not just for you, but for me as well. So I'll leave you with these words to hold on to until next time. Today's Speak Life affirmation is, I am letting go of all things that are blocking my blessings. Again, today's Speak Life affirmation is, I am letting go of all things that are blocking my blessings. You heard it, you say it, you write it down, and remind yourself to speak that thing and make it happen, because life be life in us all. I love you dearly. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.